Let's go through the 10 things you need to do the few days of arriving in Canada. Number one, make sure that those your important documents are still with you. So you have to have gone past immigration, obviously, and gotten inside of Canada. Next thing is to secure your accommodation. I tend to advise clients, if you can do Airbnb or a hotel, that's good. If you have friends and family you can stay with for a few days, that's good. Always be very mindful, whoever you're staying with, don't take advantage of that. If you've said you're going to be there for a few months, try to do all you can to make sure that within those few months you're out. You've got in your own place, because in Canada it's very hard to stay with people, because people's lives are already very, very stressful or stressed. People are already very stressed out, and the fact that they're willing to accommodate you for a short period of time, that means they must have done a lot of calculation on how to manage the relationship within that space of time. So do not take advantage of people's niceness. I've heard all sorts of stories, and you do not want to be the next person that happens to. Part of the advantage of getting a short-term accommodation before your long-term accommodation is that this allows you to take your time to find a suitable accommodation, find out about the area, is it safe, and ask questions and all of that before rush committing into something you have no clue what you're getting into. Another thing you will need to do is to get your SIN, especially if you plan to work off campus or on campus. An SIN is definitely important, so be sure to get that. People ask, where do I get that? Service Canada. So make sure you go there. Part of the documents they may ask for will be your passport and evidence of your study permit, because obviously you're a student and that's the permit that allows you to stay in Canada longer. Now, some people may be asking, what's the difference between a study permit and a visa that's in my passport? The difference is that the study permit allows you to stay in Canada longer than 6 months. It will have the duration on it, while the visa allows you to stay in Canada for 6 months. And obviously they're giving it to you for the reason whatsoever you gave as to why you are coming. So make sure you try to come for that reason and get out, and leave. Okay, do not overstay, because that becomes negative in your immigration history. So make sure you respect the conditions for which any document you are given in Canada was given to you. Next thing you want to do, obviously, is go to school and get your registration sorted. Okay, if school hasn't opened, then that's fine. You wait till school starts. But please make sure you are not allowed to work before you start school. It's after you start school that you can begin to work off or on campus. Please take note. Next thing you want to do is open a bank account. They need your passport, your study permit, and proof of address. It could be your school letter. It could be maybe the phone, if they've given you a phone bill, or well, ask them what is acceptable. I'll just say that, because those are part of the documents that are needed. Okay, and the importance of opening it quickly is to be able to deposit whatever cash you may have had, or the money you're expecting to have moved from your home country to Canada. You need to also get a phone line. So now, another important thing to say is, don't be under pressure to get a phone line immediately, though it's much cheaper if you do get it as soon as you can. But the reason why I'm saying this is you need to be able to be sure, what are the options, what are the benefits, and all of that. And I would recommend you go for the cheapest possible plan, because it's a bill. Depending on if you're doing like the monthly one, the contract, if you're doing the contract, it's a bill. And every month, Canada is going to strangle you with bills and bills and bills. So what I recommend is go for the least expensive, but that gives you enough data for internet and calling and texting. Try to go for the ones that have free texting and free receiving of calls. And there used to be a lot of things. I think now they try to simplify, but ask questions, okay? Don't get locked into a contract you hate, okay? What other thing do you need to do? So for those who don't want to get the phone line immediately, an option for you can be that you can load enough credit in your line back home, and that is how they can communicate with you throughout your trip till you arrive at your final destination. And then you can use WhatsApp and then join Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. And if you do not need a Wi-Fi in your house, don't bother getting it. Your phone, you can hotspot that, because sometimes they give you like 65 gig internet data or 80 gig data, sometimes 100 and something. If you have that, why do you have another Wi-Fi in your house? Unless it's not reliable, then okay. But you want to make sure you do not begin to incur costs early. Obviously, go register with your school. You get you confirm your enrollment, collect your student ID. Make sure you do not miss orientation. Guys, come on, listen to me. If you didn't hear anything else I said, do not miss orientation. It helps you, it really sets the ball going, helps you know where classes are, accommodation, the different places in the school. It lets you know all the important things that you need to know as an international student. So do not miss orientation and learn what the work hour rules and everything are. Also, your health insurance, the school most likely will give it to you. Or if you're in Alberta, I believe it's different from how it is in Ontario. I think Alberta is the government that gives that to you, so you need to get to a registry. Okay. Medicare is very expensive in Canada without coverage. Okay, so that health insurance helps to give you some, it helps to cover a lot of costs. I remember as an international student many years ago, my health insurance allowed me get my teeth checked without having to pay anything, only if they were going to do something that I may have had to pay. I don't know what it is now, but I know that, that definitely saves you a lot of bucks. Another important thing I'll say is, depending on the city you're in, make sure you download the transit app for that city. It helps you plan your trips. It helps you know when the next bus is coming, when the next train is coming. It helps you plan ahead of time how you're going to leave your house and get back, especially if you don't want to spend money on Uber. I remember many years ago when I didn't have a car. Oh, Uber enjoyed my money. It got so bad to the extent that Uber was taking money in chunks from me. Like, it stopped taking per trip and it began to take chunks of hundreds of dollars. So I was super relieved when I finally got a car to be able to move around. So initially, just, if you can avoid taking that Uber, avoid it. But if you can't, just make sure you make plans to get a car. That saves you a lot of cost. With regards to public transit, I know that 7-Eleven used to always sell the tickets, probably gas stations, different places, or some. As an international student, I remember that in Ontario, Toronto, they used to give transit cards, and you get discounts as a student, so you get a discount. And make sure you get an SPC card. I remember that I used to save 10% on a lot of things on SPC card, student price card. I know part of the places you can get it is Shoppers Drug Mart, probably 7-Eleven, some places in the mall, but that saves you 10% on a lot of places, even up to restaurants, stores, and all that. Depending on when you're going, and obviously this video is being done in the winter, so make sure you have your winter essentials. Thermal wear, sweater, layer on leggings, warmers. Now, Amazon has scarves that warm your neck. They have electric hand warmers. They have all sorts of things, but make sure you have your essentials. It's important you keep warm so you don't fall sick. Okay? Grocery, for those who can afford it and you don't want to go out in the cold, you can order. Otherwise, I recommend, going to the nearby grocery store and stock up to avoid frequent trips. And then, make sure you're set up for school. You're connected to the school email. You check all your emails regularly. Canada, a lot of information is passed on via email or text or calls. But another important thing I want to say is be careful of scam calls, because you do not want to get scammed, and you don't want your identity stolen. A couple of calls will come sounding like they're CRA, they're government officials, they're IRCC, CBSA, all sorts of things. But these organizations will not call you. They will most likely email you, and they will never share information, personal information over the phone, or ask you to share personal information over the phone. So if you found this video very helpful, I tried to make it less than 10 minutes, but it's so long. But like, subscribe, and share in the comments any other point I may have missed. I purposely made it 10, but I know there are way more things that is good for you to do before you come and when you arrive. So please feel free to share in the comment section. And also, before I forget, the international office in your school is your best friend. Do not feel like it's a place where the cool kids should not be seen. It is where you can find potential jobs, potential housemates. They do workshops for CVs and all of that. So please share in the comments any other thing that students should find useful, and I look forward to sharing another video soon. Harvest Field here, Pearl here. Take care. Hi guys, Pearl here from Harvest Field. I want to do this video to